This is Disney Villainous, a competitive board game where you get to play as your favorite Disney villain. This game is for 2 or more players, and you can have as many players as you have available villains. But be warned that the more players you have, the longer the game will be. To start, everyone chooses a villain. Our house rules say that villains are randomly assigned, but you can do it however you want. Each player gets a realm, a villain mover, a villain deck, a fate deck, a villain guide, a reference card, and any special pieces specific to your chosen villain. This is what the general basic setup will look like for each character, and make sure you leave room below each deck for a discard pile as well. When everyone is ready to begin, shuffle both your villain deck and your fate deck separately, and draw 4 cards from your villain deck. This will be your starting hand. The object of the game is to complete your villain's objective before any other player can. Your objective can be found here. At the beginning of the game, all players will announce who their villain is and what their objective is, and then players will take turns working towards their own objectives while also preventing players from meeting theirs. According to the rulebook, the first player will start with 0 power, which is the game's currency. The second player will start with 1 power, the third player will start with 2 power, and so on until every player has taken their first turn. Our house rules ignore this part because we think it's dumb. Anyway, on your turn, you will move your villain to a new location. When starting the game, your villain mover will be on the leftmost location, so you won't be able to go to that location on your first turn. You can move your villain mover to any new location. It doesn't have to be right next to your current location. Once there, you can perform any and all of the actions at that location. Let's go through what each action symbol means. This symbol means you gain power. Power is the currency used in this game, and the number inside of the icon denotes how much power you take from the general supply. You'll want to keep your power here on your realm so it doesn't get mixed in on a crowded table. This symbol means you get to play 1 card from your hand. We'll go over the different card types and what it all means later. This symbol means you can activate 1 card that is currently in play. We'll discuss this further when we talk about cards. This symbol means you get to fate an opponent. You'll look around the table and decide who you want to mess with. When you choose that opponent, you'll take the top 2 cards from their fate deck and pick 1 to play against them. The other will go into their fate discard pile. The card you choose to play against them will either have a certain effect, get attached to a hero already in play on that player's realm, or will be played directly to their realm. When played to their realm, the card will be played like this, covering the top actions available at that location. Until that player gets rid of that card, they will not be able to perform the covered actions. So take that into account when choosing where to place a fate card. If you're playing with 5 or more players, the person fated gets a fate token. This means that that player cannot be fated again until another player has been fated. This symbol means that you get to move an item or an ally 1 space in your realm. Unlike your villain mover, cards played into your realm can only be moved 1 adjacent location at a time. This symbol means that you get to move a hero 1 space in your realm. Just like moving items or allies, heroes can only be moved 1 adjacent location at a time. This symbol means that you can vanquish a hero. In general, this is the primary way to get rid of heroes. In order to vanquish a hero, you must have allies with strength equal to or greater than the hero you are trying to defeat, and the allies must be at the same location as the hero unless otherwise specified. When successfully defeating a hero, the hero and any attached items is sent to the fate discard pile, and the allies and any items used are sent to the villain's discard pile. We'll discuss this more when we talk about cards. The final symbol means that you can discard as many cards from your hand as you wish. Whew, that's a lot of symbols, but don't worry, all the symbols are listed on your reference card, so you don't need to memorize them. After you've done whatever actions you'd like, you can draw cards from your deck back up to 4 cards in your hand, and now the next player can take their turn. Now let's talk cards. Every villain is different and has different cards that work specifically for their story and their objective. But there's a few main categories of cards in each villain's deck that we'll talk about here. And once you get a grasp of the basics, you can watch our villain-specific videos to learn about their quirks. This is what a card generally looks like. The number here is the cost of the card. Notice that symbol? When you play the card using the play a card action, you'll need to pay that many power in order to play the card. This text here is the name of the card. This text below it describes the card's ability. And this colored text at the bottom defines the card type. All villain decks contain the 4 basic card types: effect, item, ally, and condition. Effect cards are single use. That means that when you play the card, you perform the card's ability immediately and then discard the card. Item cards are either played directly to a location in your realm, or they are attached to an existing ally. This will be made clear in the ability listed on the card. Ally cards are played directly to a location in your realm. You'll notice that ally cards have an additional number here. That is the ally's strength. If you remember when we discussed using a vanquish action, in order to vanquish a hero, you must have allies with strength equal to or greater than the hero you are trying to defeat. You can use more than one ally to vanquish a hero. Just remember that when you vanquish a hero, all allies used must be discarded. Condition cards are not played like regular cards. Condition cards are played during other players' turns when certain conditions are met. If you have condition cards in your hand, take note of what would activate them and what they would do. If the condition is met during another player's turn, announce that you're playing a condition card, read it off, and perform whatever ability it says. Remember this guy? This is the activate symbol. Some cards have this icon on them which notes that the ability on the card cannot be performed unless activated. Sometimes activations are free, and sometimes they cost power, but this will be denoted on the card. And remember, you have to use an activate action in order to activate the card. The ability does not automatically occur when the card is played like most other cards. The Fate deck is generally made up of 3 types of cards, 2 of which we've already discussed, items and effects, but the third type is a hero card. Hero cards are similar to allies, but they're played against you instead of for you. The number in the bottom left denotes the hero's strength, which you'll need to match or exceed in order to vanquish. And remember, they're placed in the rectangle above each location and will often block potential actions until vanquished. And that's the basics of Villainous. When it's your turn, you'll move to a new location, perform whatever available actions you wish, and draw cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. If you want to learn more about how to play individual villains, you can check out our other videos. Otherwise, have fun!